ladies and gentlemen, courage is not something you find by accident. It is something you build moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. Courage is the silent force inside you that whispers, try again, even when the world tells you to quit. It is the steady heartbeat that pushes you forward when fear tries to stop you. We often imagine courage as something loud, heroic, and dramatic, but real courage is deeply personal. It begins in small moments, when you choose honesty instead of hiding, when you admit your pain instead of pretending, when you show up even when you don't feel ready. Courage isn't born in perfection, it is born in vulnerability. It grows when you embrace your truth. Your story matters. Every part of it, your failures, your doubts, your heartbreaks, your victories, everything. But the most courageous thing you can ever do is tell your story with your whole heart. Not the edited version, not the filtered version, the real version, the version that carries your scars. Because when you tell your story, you don't just heal yourself. You heal others who have been waiting for someone to say, I've felt that too. Brave people feel fear just like everyone else. They feel uncertainty, doubt, and sometimes even terror. But the difference is simple, brave people move anyway. They take one small step forward, even if their knees are shaking. They don't wait for fear to disappear. They walk with it. They lead it. They turn fear into fuel. Courage begins when you show up without guarantees, when you don't know the outcome, when nothing is promised, when you step into the unknown purely on faith, faith in your strength, faith in your heart, a faith that you deserve more than the life your fear has allowed you to live. Taking risks builds confidence. Every time you choose the harder path, every time you refuse to settle, every time you say, I deserve better, you grow. Confidence isn't a gift, it's a result. It is built one risk, one challenge, one brave decision at a time. Discomfort is temporary. Regret is forever. You must choose discomfort now so you don't live regret later. Growth has a price, and the price is courage. You cannot rise without stretching. You cannot transform without breaking old patterns. You cannot evolve without facing the parts of yourself you once avoided. Every courageous act starts small. A whisper, a thought, a single step. Never underestimate what one brave moment can do. It can shift your destiny. It can rewrite your identity. It can unchain years of fear. Small beginnings create big transformations. And remember this truth: courage and vulnerability are inseparable. You cannot be brave if you're not willing to be seen, if you're not willing to be real, if you're not willing to say, this is me. Imperfect, flawed human, but trying. When you allow yourself to feel deeply, you allow yourself to live deeply. When you stop running from your emotions, you discover your strength. When you stop hiding your wounds, you find your healing. When you stop shrinking yourself for others, you become the person you were always meant to be. Courage is choosing to rise even after you fall. It's choosing to forgive when you weren't given an apology. It's choosing to love even after heartbreak. It's choosing to trust again after being betrayed. It's choosing to start over when everything inside you wants to give up. Your story does not end where you fell. Your story begins where you rise. You are stronger than your past. You are bigger than your pain. You are more powerful than the fear trying to limit you. You were not born to live small. You were not created to live quietly. You were made to expand, to rise, to speak, to grow, to heal, to help, to love, to lead. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of courage, a freer you, a stronger you, a more authentic you, a more peaceful you, a more powerful you. Courage is the bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. So today, choose courage, choose your truth, choose your voice. Choose your story. Choose the life that fear never allowed you to imagine. Because courage is not the end of fear. It is the beginning of freedom. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward while fear walks beside you. We spend so much of our lives trying to be perfect, trying to look strong, trying to hide our cracks so the world sees only the polished version of us, yet it is exactly those cracks that hold the truth of who we are. Real courage begins the moment you stop performing and start showing up as your authentic self. We hide our tears, our doubts, our disappointments, and our softness because we fear being judged, rejected, or misunderstood. But here is the truth. You cannot be loved for who you truly are until you allow yourself to be seen for who you truly are. Your imperfections are not flaws. They are bridges. They connect you to others. They remind you that you are human. They create space for empathy, compassion, and real belonging. The world doesn't heal from perfection. It heals from authenticity. We often run from our emotions because feeling deeply scares us. We bury pain, silence sadness, distract from loneliness, and numb heartbreak. But you cannot outrun your emotions and expect to live a full life. Feeling deeply is not a weakness. It is your greatest strength, your inner compass, your emotional wisdom. Vulnerability is not about exposing your wounds for sympathy. It is about honoring your truth with honesty. It takes tremendous courage to say, I'm hurting, I'm scared, I don't know, or I need help. That honesty is the birthplace of healing. Your story, every messy, painful, complicated part of it, is not a burden, it is your power. Someone in this world is silently breaking in the same way you once broke, waiting for someone brave enough to say, I've been there too. When you share your story with your whole heart, you don't just free yourself, you open the door for someone else to breathe again. Life will break you at times. People will disappoint you. Situations will betray your trust. But rising again, that is courage. Rising again is your declaration that your past does not get to define your future. So many of us hold on to things that are slowly destroying us. Relationships that have expired, dreams that no longer fit, stories that were never ours to carry, guilt that was never ours to bear. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is choosing to make room for healing, peace, and growth. And the most important trust you will ever rebuild is the trust you have with yourself, the trust that says, I will not abandon myself again. I will not shrink to make others comfortable. I will not silence my own voice. I will choose myself even when no one else does. Every brave choice you make takes you one close step closer to the person you were born to become. There is a version of you that is freer, lighter, braver, more honest, more peaceful, and more powerful. And that version of you is waiting just beyond the line of courage. The path won't be easy. Fear will follow you. Doubt will whisper. Uncertainty will cry to pull you back. But courage does not require you to be fearless, only to be willing. Willing to take the step, willing to speak your truth, willing to rise after you fall, willing to choose yourself even when it feels impossible. So today I ask you to choose courage, not because life will be easier, but because you deserve a life that is real, meaningful, and free. Choose your truth, choose your voice, choose your story, choose the version of yourself that fear never allowed you to meet. Because courage is not the end of fear, courage is the beginning of your freedom. And when you finally learn to live bravely, the world doesn't just change for you, you change for the world.